woman, I tell her, me even considering being in a relationship with you is a great sacrifice for me, a great sacrifice. There is nothing that I'm going to get out of this that is going to be eminently better than what I get being single because I'm happy being single because of the spiritual benefits. And what we will discuss today are the spiritual benefits of being single. So without further ado, let's get into this thing. Again, Green Label Gang in the building. Shola, I see you in the building. Mar, salute. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. A true earthling, salute. King Abraham, salute. Good to see you in the joint, man. Now, the first thing that you have to understand is that being single gives you an opportunity to learn who you are and therefore learn who you aren't. See, when you're out here in the world trying to fake like you're something you're not, or be something you're not, or trying to mimic someone else, you don't know who you are. You haven't spent enough time by yourself. You haven't spent enough time taking a deep dive into your psyche, into your spirit, man. You have to know who you are with your eyes closed, not just who you are when you look in the mirror. So learning who you are and who you aren't are imperative for spiritual growth. Here's the thing. We always talk about what we like, what we want, what we need, what we don't like, what we lack. You can't know what you like, what you want, what you need, or what you lack until you know and accept who you are. And that only happens when you spend the time by yourself. I don't mean, well, one day of the week I spend it by myself, the rest of the week I'm out chasing fannies. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, you have to learn how to enjoy being alone. The most joyous time of a man's life, it should be his alone time because of the peace and serenity that comes with that alone time. That should be your most joyous time. You should be absolutely thrilled with your alone time. I just got back in town yesterday. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The thing that I miss the most, y'all listen for a minute. Hear that? Quiet. You have to put yourself in a position where you are so thrilled with your alone time, with being alone, with being single, that you can literally say and honestly say to someone, in order for me to be with you, I have to make a great sacrifice of something that's very valuable to me. Therefore, you have to put forth an imminent amount of effort to make me believe that this is worth it. Because until you do, you're going to be, you're just going to live life in a circle. You're not going to go up, down, back and forth. You're going to live life in a circle. Who wants to live life in a circle? I don't. And I know you men don't either. See, you're always a lesser version of yourself when you add someone to your life. The strongest you are is when you're alone. You're always a lesser version of you when you add someone to your life because you becomes we, you becomes us. So you automatically become a lesser version because there are things about that person you don't know. So you take on the essence of someone and you don't even know what it is. You don't even understand it. You got to learn it. The most challenging state a man can be in is in a situation where he don't know what he's dealing with. First day of school for a kindergartner, the toughest day of school ever, because it is the day that you just don't know. You see, by the time you get to junior high or high school, yeah, it's a new experience, but you already know what school is about. You're old enough now to hear other people tell you about it. You've got older siblings who are speaking on it in a way you're understanding what they go through in those levels of education now. But as a kindergartner, man, you don't know nothing. It's finna really be your first time away from home in an environment that does not cater to you like a baby. It's not daycare. It's not the babysitter. It's an environment where no one is going to cater to you. Their job is not to baby you, not to cater you. Their job is to teach you these basic understandings that you need in order to navigate life. So you have to learn to preserve the essence of your being to avoid this, to avoid becoming that lesser version, to avoid giving up some of who you are in order to make room to add someone else. You never add someone to who you are unless you give away some of yourself. Learn to preserve the essence of your being when you're single, when you're alone. Learn to value it so you can preserve it. Learn to value it so you don't believe that anything else is worth compromising or risking that version of yourself. What is it that you have inside that's too valuable to give away? What is it that you stand for that's too valuable to sit down for? What is it that you represent that's too valuable to put on the back burner and act like you represent something else? Those are the things that you build your confidence in yourself on in a way where you're not going to compromise that just to have someone in your life. Just to have someone in your life. Not their life, your life. You want to have someone in your life. Your life. Think about that. You're going to compromise who you are to add someone to that life that needs you in your full version in order to be the life that you built. It makes no sense. You take away from that life that you've built in order to invite someone else in, but you make it a less enjoyable life, a less satisfying life because you take out the main component. The main component of your life is you. SJ3, salute. See, what we have to understand in this society, man, those derogatory terms for being single, or, you incel, or man, you can't get no woman, or single, what they call it, true force loneliness, and all of those things. Those derogatory terms for being single are simply societal markers to make you believe that codependence is the proper foundation for interpersonal human reactions. Codependence is not the proper foundation for interpersonal human interactions. It is the greatest detriment to interpersonal human interactions. That's why we look back and we look at traditional relationships and they lasted longer because it was not codependence. It simply was not. So when we talk about things like cooking and cleaning and all of that, those aren't things that I value. I don't value those things. Those things that have to be done, but I don't value them to a point where I can be in a relationship and a woman can bring those things to my life. And I'm like, well, yeah, she does that. So that's a wonderful thing. No, those are just things you're gonna do if you're gonna be around me. What else you gonna do? All those things can be outsourced. You know what can't be outsourced? Provision and protection. That can't be outsourced. You can't pay somebody to provide and protect. So when you think about it, modern dating has done more harm than good. But it changes the interaction. It causes everyone to believe that something's wrong with you if you're single. Why? We ask that. We ask that, and they ask that. Everyone asks that. Well, why are you single? That's one of the first questions that I'll get. Why are you single? Because I want to be. Because I enjoy being. We're told that we're supposed to be, that being in a relationship is the completion of who you are. Being in a relationship is an experience in life. It is not the completion of who you are as a man. Ain't nobody around gonna sit and tell you, man, you know what? Boy, I tell you what, I was just as weak as I want to be. I didn't get righteous till I got in a relationship. You have to understand, man, that it is your job to do whatever you have to do to protect, preserve, pedestalize, and prioritize the best version of yourself. And you do that when you're single. You find me a man who had to grind from nothing to making a successful business. He'll tell you that one of the things he did was spend time by himself. And I'm not just talking about from relationships. I'm talking about from hanging out with your friends, from going to family functions. I'm talking about, boy, you got to get your nose to the grindstone and you got to focus on doing what you want to do. That's what purpose is. That's what focusing on yourself is. By acquiescing to dating demands, you live a desperate life. It reeks of desperation. Jump through a hoop, take her on a date, buy some food, buy some clothes, take her on a car, buy a car, pay for a school, pay for a hair, pay for nails. You got to do all of that, man. It sounds like an old school rap song. Buy everything that you want. Sound like Curtis Blow, man. In a society that depends on groupthink to peddle mediocre goods and services, you being separated from the group is frowned upon. You're not supposed to be single. You need to be grouped up with somebody so they can convince you to spend your money on this foolishness like they do. You need to be grouped up with somebody so then y'all can group up with some more couples and then group up with some more couples and then all of y'all can be suckered into buying these mediocre goods and services with the hard-earned money that you make. It's harder to connect someone who has a singular mindset to the group. You get too much of that going on, the group get too small. The money ain't being made no more. What's going on? Wait a minute. We need to be selling this amount of this. Let's convince these people that being single is the wrong thing to do. If you're single, you must be miserable. Something must be wrong with you. Why are you single? Something's wrong with you. I did a video not long ago, man, on the BOA channel where there was this lady, man. I mean, listen, man, pretty lady. She was about 38. And she was saying that she realized that she was aging out. But you know what? All in my comments, all I saw were guys talk about something must be wrong with her. She's single. Something must be wrong with her. Now, this woman is single, never been married, no children. And you know, guys were saying, man, something must be wrong with her. What kind of woman, 38 years old, ain't never been married, ain't got no children? Something must be wrong with her. Seemed to me like everything right with her. On one hand, you talk about, well, that's wrong. And then when you get the opposite, you turn around and say that's wrong. Why? Because everyone believes that if you ain't with nobody, something's wrong with you. They think about the social benefits, not the spiritual benefits of being single. This is what they think about. So therefore, when you come out of your singlehood, man, when you come out of singledom, you had better be sure, man, that whoever you come out of there for, man, is a valuable piece of the puzzle of your life. If not, you're losing from the time you decide to get involved. Because you're going to find yourselves being a part of the group. That's one of the main things I look at, man. Let me tell you something, man. It's funny that I have always preferred a woman who was plain Jane. Plain Jane embraces her natural beauty. Plain Jane can clean up, but I prefer plain Jane. I don't want no makeup. I don't want no lashes. Why? Because for me, that represents unnecessary expenditure and it represents a need to be viewed socially for your physicality, for lack of a better way to put it. You got to understand that if you're seeking love outside of you, then self-love is not there. Self-love is the precursor to being able to decipher love and receive it from others. If you don't know what self-love is, you don't know what love from nobody else look like. How you going to determine what love look like from someone else when you don't even know what it look like from yourself? Protecting your spirit is done through self-love and appreciation. I say again, protecting your spirit is done through self-love and appreciation. It ain't no amount of relationship, no amount of intimate love, no amount of family love, no amount of parental love, no amount of child love, no amount of nothing kind of love, no amount of love from nobody but yourself is going to help you protect your spirit more than self-love and appreciation. You got to do it. You the only one can't nobody else give you self-love. Self-love is about self. Where yourself at? Where your love for yourself at? See, this is what we got to remember, man. Social media makes society thirsty for fake attention, for their physical presentation. See, everybody can get fake attention real quick for their spiritual presentation because all you got to do is show it. You ain't got to talk. Ain't nobody got to know your character. All you got to do is show it. There's nothing else to it. You just show it and then you go. And then you come on the next day and then you show it and then you go. And then you come on the next day. And you can do this every single day, 365 days a year. Get a whole bunch of validation, a whole bunch of appreciation, a whole bunch of fake admiration for showing some physical that may or may not be real. See, what you got to understand, if it can be fake when you show it, it can be fake when the attention come too. Spiritual connections don't sell ads. You can't make nobody go get no Valentine Day candy if and no big stuffed teddy bears and these chocolate covered strawberries and all that. You can't make nobody go get that stuff. If you're showing single people, no, man, you got to show people, happy couples walking at the beach, frolicking in the water. You got to show happy couples on the top of the mountain, blowing bubbles, or you got to show happy couple in the canoe going down the French Riviera. You got to show the happy couple walking into the suite. You got to show the happy couple at the romantic dinner, eating off each other's fork. You got to show a couple. Single people don't represent sales, and so they want you to believe that you are a stain on society because you are not contributing to the sales of those goods and services. What are you if you're not contributing to the goods and services? You are taking food out of somebody's mouth because you don't want to be a part of the game. Now, what are we supposed to do about that? Are we supposed to allow ourselves to not receive the spiritual benefits of being? Let me tell you something. The most spiritually astute time of my life, the time I grew the most spiritually, when I took a vow to Nazarite. When I took the vow to Nazarite, boy, I laid off everything that a man can lay off for 17 straight months. And you know what, boy? Now, I've never grown like that in my life. That's why 6 months out of every year right now, I abstain from physical intimacy. Why? Because that's what I'm going to do. And then the woman going to be with me, she got to be able to do that. Because it ain't going to stop because I got her. You know why? Because I'm too happily single. That benefits me too much for me to give it up just to have a woman in my life, the life that benefits. You see what I'm saying? You see how it's a circular motion when you don't understand the value of being happily single, man? It's a circular motion. Being single is sold as a sickness. Something's wrong with you. Guys complain about being single. Let's say that again. Guys complain about being single like they don't see these guys complaining about being in a relationship. Society tells you stay in that relationship. It don't matter how bad it's dragging you down. It don't matter how bad that relationship messing up your brain. It don't matter how bad that relationship making you feel like you are less than a man. It don't matter. Stay in that relationship. The best thing you could do is stay in that relationship because that's what you're supposed to be in. Are you a man or a mouse? If you're a mouse, then get out the house. If you're a man, then stay in that relationship for as long as you can. That's what they tell you. What are you trying to get out of that relationship for? You're supposed to be a man. If you're a man, deal with the pain. Don't you go be single. What's wrong with you? Go be single. And we will cut you off from all the joy and satisfaction of the world. Think about this. Think about, say, like on the holidays. Think about the treatment a single person receives from being alone in a public venue. Think about it. Man, listen, I have seen this. I have seen someone in a public venue at a time where I wasn't single. I wasn't, where I was, I had a woman in my life. But I've seen somebody, a single person, get put right in the middle of the place. I'm talking about right in the middle where everybody all around could look right at them. And they sit them right there. And the first thing they offer them It's the alcoholic beverage menu. They don't even ask them if they want an appetizer. They start. I'm talking about they just patronize the person, acting like, man, something wrong with you. Let me go ahead and hurry up and get you full of this liquor, man. You need some liquor. And I was like, man, why they sat that person in the middle of the room like that? But I realized it was because that person had the audacity, the unmitigated gall, the intestinal fortitude to come in this place alone with all these couples in here. So when I tell people things like, man, I go somewhere by myself all the time. If it's a movie I want to see, man, listen, most of the time when I'm watching a movie, now, I do have, I do have somebody I can, go see a movie with, man, and just enjoy the movie because they're gonna sit there and be quiet and watch the movie and they ain't gonna be, trying to make it all about them. But for the most part, when I go watch a movie, man, I go watch a movie by myself. Because if it's something I really want to see, I want to see it. I want to see it like I'm watching it at home, but it ain't out yet at home. So I got to go to the theater and watch it. So I'll go to the theater and watch it. And I'll be in there by my man. Listen, I'll go to the theater, man, at a time of day when I'm fortunate enough to be able to be in there. I've seen movies, man, that were just coming out that week and went in there that Monday, man. I was in the theater by myself, sitting right in the middle at the very level I wanted to sit at, man, enjoying the hell out of that movie, boy. I'm talking about enjoying myself, man. Why? Because I'm cool with being by myself. I'm cool with that. You understand? So they demean you by singling you out. They patronize you via inebriation. Oh, I know you need some liquor. And they might even overcharge you if you ain't looking at the what you call it. If you ain't looking at the menu, you ain't looking at your receipt, boy, they'll overcharge you for having the unmitigated gall to come out there single. Who are you to come out here single? See, let me tell y'all something, man. This is the danger of being miserably single. See, there's happily single and there's miserably single. Being miserably single opens the door for unscrupulous characters intent on taking advantage of your fragile self assessment for their own personal gain with no intent of any type of energy reciprocation. They ain't gonna give you nothing back. They see that you're in a fragile state. They see that you're in a state where your self-esteem has taken a shot. And what they're gonna do, they're gonna take advantage and take you for everything they can get from you. And then you just gonna be left there because they have no intention on giving you anything back. Why? Because you don't demand anything back because you're so needy at that particular time. That's why the first question I asked a woman when I meet, I say, what the last relationship you was in? Y'all worrying about who the woman been with her whole life. I'm wondering what the last relationship she been in and how long ago it was. I need to properly assess if she's had time to heal from that and had time to close off whatever she had opened up to that, whatever emotional outlet she had opened up to that, whatever mental outlet she had opened up to that, and of course whatever physical outlets she had opened up to that. I need to know if she's had time to close those outlets. How long have those doors been closed? Because if ain't no cobwebs on them, they ain't been closed long enough for me. So when you let this person into your life because you like, oh man, I'm so tired of being single. Everybody got somebody. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows but me. You sitting around and you're looking at everybody else and you're worrying about everybody else because you can't focus on your own life because you're miserable being single. So what do? The first person that come along, you let them in. It's even so worse, man. It's so bad, man, that you will do some very, very dissatisfying things that you may think are okay, but you're going to be dissatisfied on the back end of them. See, because this person coming into your life and draining you for everything they got for their own personal gain, the result of that will likely send you into an even deeper spiral of self-loathing because now you're looking at yourself and you got to accept the one thing that you ain't had to accept before. So you could be miserably single and be like, I'm going through a thing. But when you react desperately to being miserably single, then you have to look at yourself and say, you know what? I don't even respect you. I can't even respect you. I can't even respect you now because look what you did. You did that just because you're alone. And here's the crazy thing. This is what's so crazy. Being dissatisfied in that poorly constructed relationship is more miserable than being alone. So when you doing all the I'm so miserable being alone, I ain't got nobody, I ain't got no. Now, of course, I'm talking about men because women, at some point, you gonna need somebody. That's just how you wire. You're gonna need somebody to love on. You're full of love, you're full of affection. You're gonna need somebody to shower that on. So I ain't talking about y'all. This don't apply to y'all right here. This apply to my brothers out here. You got to understand that this will put you on an emotional roller coaster where you will be in and out of relationships, and none of them will be satisfying. And all you will be doing is wearing yourself down and wearing everything about you down to the point where you don't even believe in yourself anymore. You don't know who you are, and then you go from the point of wanting companionship to the dreadful position of needing companionship. For needing companionship. And what you got to understand, when you start needing companionship, you start starving for companionship. And what's the one thing we know about a starving animal? Somebody put it in the comments right now. What's the one thing we know about a starving animal? Why, get a swig of water here. Oh yeah, we got to get it. We got to get it. One a day, baby. One a day. What's the one thing we know about a starving animal? They will eat anything. Find ways to win. They will eat anything. They will eat anything. So just like a starving animal, when you're starving for affection, starving for attention, starving for companionship, you will accept it from anyone. So when you see a man going through a whole bunch in a relationship and he just won't let it go, he wanted to receive companionship from anyone. When you see a man dealing with the unscrupulous character and unscrupulous ways of a woman, and he won't leave her, he wanted affection from anyone. When you see a man allowing himself to be put on intimate punishment, he was willing to accept that connection from anyone because he was starving. He was starving for it, man. He was starving for something that he thought he needed when he didn't need it in the first place. But he was sitting somewhere with a refrigerator full of food, pantry full of food, backyard full of food. That boy got a deep freezer in the garage full of food. But you know what? He couldn't even focus on what he had because he done let society convince him of what he didn't have. You got all this money. You got all this success. You got all this fame and notoriety. And you still can't be happy being by yourself. So much, in fact, that you got to leave from marrying one woman and within a year go marry another one. Yay, Yeezy. You got to remember, man, fear of being alone will cause us to publicly pursue someone. Cold approach is fear of being alone. When guys brag about, oh, I talked to this many women right here. That's a fear of being, that ain't even nothing to brag about. You sound stupid. One of the stupidest things man can say is brag about how many conquests he has. That man, that's immature, it's stupid, and it lacks spiritual astuteness, it lacks morality. Fear of being alone, desperation is what causes us to publicly pursue someone, anyone, for the temporary comfort of temporary company of a person we'll be embarrassed to even be seen with publicly beyond that night. Because here's the real deal. You can have someone who's absolutely physically gorgeous and absolutely spiritually ruined, and you'll be more embarrassed to be in public with that person than you would someone who's just average looking but sweet as peach pie. You know why? Because though the average looking woman may be sweet as peach pie, or the sweetest peach pie woman may be average looking, you know that she gonna respect you, and you know that she gonna look at you the way a woman's supposed to look at a man. But that beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous woman with the terrible spirit energy, She gonna embarrass you out in public. So what's better? To be embarrassed by a drop dead gorgeous woman or to be catered to by an average looking woman? Help me understand. What's better? You got to look at life from a spiritual perspective. What benefits you spiritually? Because when it all boils down, if you live long enough, you're going to be an old man. You're going to be an old man. And all these physical conquests ain't going to mean nothing. They're just going to be stupid stories that you tell young men who shouldn't even be hearing that. Because you ain't going to never tell them the bad side of it. You're going to glorify. You're going to tell them how amazing it was. You're going to tell them how wonderful it was. You're going to tell them how much of a conqueror you were. But that's all you're going to have from that life. This is about protecting your spirit, man. That's all. It's just about protecting your spirit, man. I will tell you this. As I said, being dissatisfied in a poorly constructed relationship is more miserable than being alone. But unfortunately, it takes that experience of being in that disproportionate, terribly constructed relationship for most of us to appreciate the serenity of being alone. Everybody want to cry about being single until they get in a situation that's miserable, and then they wish they could be single again. Then they go and say, well, I'm just going to be single for a while. Well, you could have been single for a while before. And then even then, it's not because they want to protect their spirit, man. It's not because they want to protect their spirit. It's because they hurt. It's because they tired of being mistreated. They don't want to go into the situation and live the life that of a single person and enjoy getting to know themselves and learn themselves and love themselves and do all of that. They just want to get away from the toxicity of the situation they in. And they'll spend a few months out of that and go get right back into another one. You know the craziest experience that anyone can have? To be in and out of relationships consistently. I'm talking about every year in a different relationship. Or be in a relationship 3 years and within a year you in another relationship. Be in a relationship for 5 years and then within a year after that one in you in another relationship. Man, it ain't that much relationship in the world. Ain't nobody got that much energy to share. You losing a little bit more of yourself. Every time you jump in and out of a relationship, you lose more and more and more of yourself. Who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? It doesn't make sense to do it. When you accept the fact that being alone is a blessing, if you have everything you need and everything you want, and you're not struggling, you're not living check to check, you're not worrying about how you're going to eat, you're not worrying about where you're going to sleep, you're not worrying about any of those things, don't you understand being alone is a blessing to you? It's a blessing to you because you get to appreciate life without someone else around demanding that you appreciate them at the same time. It takes time in life to learn to appreciate yourself. Before you can appreciate anyone else, you got to learn to appreciate yourself. Because this is what happens when you learn to appreciate yourself. You only have people around you who have those same qualities that you appreciate in yourself. That's how you end up in a what they call an unequally yoked relationship. Because you don't know yourself. You don't appreciate yourself. You haven't figured out the things about you that you like, the things that make your life go. So you're over here appreciating things from somebody else that you come to find out you don't even like. You don't even like, man. You must understand that when everything takes place in your life, then the only person you're going to be able to point the finger at is yourself. When you're laying on your deathbed, only person going to be laying on there with you is yourself. When they put you in the box, make that 6 feet hole and it drops. Ain't nobody gonna be in there but yourself. When your mom in the delivery room about to push your daddy's seed out of the womb, guess what? You the only one in there by yourself. Unless you got a twin and one of y'all still came out for the other one. I want y'all to understand, man, that self-preservation is the key to everything you want out of this life. Self-prioritization is the key to maintaining everything that you get out of this life. And self-love and appreciation is the first step to all of it. So don't let nobody tell you that being single is a terrible thing. Because being single does not inherently mean you are unwanted, unattractive, emotionally contagious person. It don't mean that. Unless you allow society to define you and tell you that it does. Couple super chats up here, man. Let me knock them out right quick. All right. Got Lucifer Ratzinger. Single life always the best life. Especially nowadays, I usually keep one to two females on rotation every year. Marriage is irrelevant, and women today have way too much baggage. Appreciate you, man. Uh, Simply Amira J. Appreciate the super sticker. Mental acumen. Appreciate the 15 bone, man. Doc, you encapsulate the essence of being wild on your own when you lack nothing. I hear so many men talking about being lost without the other half. You're the role model we need. Salute. I appreciate that mental acumen, man. Salute to you. Appreciate it. Find ways to win. Appreciate the dime. My fellow Alabama brother, I appreciate you and your wisdom. Keep up your great work. Salute, man. Bama boys represent, man. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Appreciate it. Big T. Appreciate you, man. Proverbs 21:19. It might be it. We got one more down here. Johnny Del Rome, JDR. What's good, man? Salute. Appreciate the dub. What's up, BOA? Been a long time. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you being in the joint. Has been a minute. Good to know, man. You still rolling with us in the Alphasphere, man. So here's what I'll say, man, in closing this thing out, man. Life can be a wonderful thing, man. I mean, the majority of life can be a wonderful thing. Yeah, there's gonna be times, man, you got to worry about losing loved ones, and especially when you're young, there are lessons you got to learn. But if there's one thing I can tell you right now, if you can't embrace being single and be happy about it, then you won't ever be able to embrace being with someone and being happy about it. Because how can you be happy when your greatest fear is that that person that you have latched on to, attach yourself to as a man of God is going to leave? When you're more concerned about the person walking away than losing your connection with the Most High, how can you ever be happy? So take some time, learn yourself, learn who you are by being single, as long as you have to be. And for you young men in your 20s, even your teens, man, don't worry about rushing into no relationship. I promise you, the worst thing you could ever do in your life is rush into a relationship. There's no other thing that's ever going to be worse than that. No result is ever going to be worse than that. So just don't do it. Take that time, learn who you are. Because until you learn who you are, you'll never learn what you deserve and you'll accept anything. Famo, I saw you in here, man. Salute. Appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. I saw the homie Mr. Owen here as well. Salute, man. Let's get on out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, man. Hey, look, tune in, man. Be that man for the King for the BOA channel tonight, man. We got a phenomenal show. Tonight's show, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Top 10 alpha lessons I would tell young BOA today. Y'all don't want to miss that, man. If I'm trying to find a piece, man, for yeah, I'm gonna try to do a call-in show tonight, man. So it may be a call-in show tonight. So y'all tune in, man. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Hey, look, man, until then, enjoy the rest of your day, homies. Be safe in your comings and your goings. And always leave here knowing you all you got. Peace.